Hello everyone, it's me Clayton. I just finished watching Flamin Hot, starring Jesse Garcia, Annie Gonzalez, and Dennis Haybert, and directed by Eva Longoria. The story of Flamin Hot Cheetos is a big rags to riches story of Richard Montañez going from being a Mexican immigrant to becoming a big executive at PepsiCo after somehow getting in touch with the big boss of PepsiCo to appeal to the Hispanic market. This is definitely that story in a very by the books, but still generally well told biopic about Montañez and his life. So let's get to the story, shall we? Richard Montañez, played by Jesse Garcia, is a Mexican immigrant who's trying to find a job help so he can financially support his family while the Reagan administration is going on. So naturally, jobs are hard to come by. His family's struggling through financial issues, and even when he manages to get the job of a janitor at Frito Lay, he's not exactly well respected by most of the other employees. But when he gets an idea to appeal to the Hispanic market by creating the Flamin' Hot Cheetos, Cheetos with a very spicy aftertaste, he happens to get the attention of the big boss man of PepsiCo as a whole. And the film details how he went from his humble beginnings to becoming a top executive when it comes to selling his product and when it comes to getting it into the hands of the people that he knows and loves. But that's all I'll say about the story. If you've seen biopics like this, especially when it comes to the underdog stories, you probably know what's going to happen in the film before it even goes down. But from what I can tell, most of the stuff that happens in this movie did legitimately happen in real life, albeit there are some exaggerations here and there. Some done comedically and some done for the sake of this working better as a movie. It's not like they just made half the stuff up as they went along. Apparently, a lot of the stuff is what happened and detailed in Richard Montañez's autobiography. And I do like a lot of the performances on hand here. Jesse Garcia and Annie Gonzalez deliver a very believable couple as Richard and Judy Montanez. You really get a sense of how they help each other throughout these problems and how they really work well as a couple. Even the kid actors who play their sons throughout the film do a really good job, which is a lot harder than you'd think for child actors. And Dennis Haybert obviously gets a good supporting role as an engineer who's been looking for a promotion for a very long time. And considering his voice just works so well for all state commercials, of course it works well for being a mentor figure in this film. It definitely does a lot with its 1980s setting as well. Everything from the brand labels to the technology used to the overall aesthetic of the film, it definitely screams 1970s to early 1980s era. So it definitely has that authenticity to it. But at the same time, it does feel like the film does rush to get to certain points. Not counting some of the credits, the film's only about 95 minutes long, and it sometimes shows when it comes to how the story is told. On one hand, it is fast enough to the point where it never gets boring, and it gets to all the important points that you'd want a biopic like this to get to. But there are some times when it doesn't feel like it gives certain scenes time to breathe, so to speak. It it gets to a point where you can think maybe if a certain scene or two lasted longer here or there, these emotional moments would have more impact. Still, for a woman who isn't exactly known for directing, Eva Longoria did a pretty good job here, and I was interested in learning about Richard Montañez throughout the entire film. So I'll give this about a 7 out of 10. Not essential viewing, but it is a fun watch for what it is.